Well, welcome back to the Blade Show, everybody, where I have a 2-for-1 video for us today, where we're going to look not only at the KERSHAW STEPPE, which is a sub $50 ultra-light compact fixed blade that has some features that you don't find very often unless you're going to drop over $200 on a compact fixed blade, and may be the perfect solution for those of you who are considering EDCing a fixed blade for the first time, but you are on a tight budget. There's some really cool features with this particular fixed blade that we're going to unpack, but I also have the mini IRIDIUM that we're going to take a look at, and for the astute user, they're going to notice that there is a unique update outside of just shrinking down the size that this model has that the original does not. So it's going to be a blast. If you are addicted to edge tools, you are in the right place. I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical. Let's dive in. Now, a few weeks back when the KERSHAW STEPPE showed up on my steps and I unsheathed it for the first time, I was like, okay, this has some serious potential. Not only is the knife itself coming in at 2.5 ounces with the sheath, it's like 3.7, so well under the 4-ounce mark. And what we have here is I believe it's stonewash. Yeah, it looks stonewash to me. Stonewash blade, beautiful silhouette. The silhouette there is so ideal for just about any task that I, in my mind, can think of for a knife of this size, from the rubberized handle to the tip being 3.5, and then the cutting edge is like 3.1, maybe 3.2 actual cutting. Extremely high saber grind, has amazing amount of belly, great tip for piercing, penetrating, and maximum thickness back there by the jimping of 0.13. All of those going together with D2 steel and coming in at like $45 currently is what I'm seeing it go for, means that the performance level that I put this through, I was like stoked on. If you like the idea, or you're considering weighing the idea of using a fixed blade every day in your general utility around your property, you just want to EDC it for your job, you want to use something like this around camp, around the fishing hole, whatever it is, this profile and idea really does check that box. Being light, being compact, being very slicey, and having the geometry that you want. D2 steel, nothing to balk at. I would put in this type of blade, I would take it over 8CR, and we used to be paying these prices for like 8CR. So all of those things going together, I was absolutely floored with, and you're getting really the like slicing and, you know, performance of a folder, but you're getting the rigidity and solidness of a fixed blade. So that's the benefit, and and like ease of cleaning. Particularly, I'm thinking of like cleaning fish, doing that type of stuff. Way easier to maintain and clean a fixed blade than it would be to, you know, maintain a folder in those type of scenarios. Now, this really cool feature that we'll talk about with sheathing here in a moment provided an amazing pinch point for certain pull cuts, caping motions, those type of grips. It just sat my fingers so well, and it allowed me to manipulate the tool on some of the different cutting tasks I was doing better than a lot of the other compact fixed blades that I own. So that aspect as well, it works and locks in with the sheath that we'll look at in a moment, but that really connected with me. And they snuck in a 90-degree spine right here that easily throws sparks, adding to the versatility in the outdoors. Now, compact fixed blades like this have to have a slam-in sheath to be able to be carried in a multitude of different configurations on your person, and so we'll see how this stacks up in just a moment. But I do want to invite you guys to hit that like button and to consider subscribing if you're not yet a subscriber here at the channel. Make sure you hit the bell icon so that you can be notified every week when I put up new gear reviews, giving you pros, cons, helping you make wise choices on whether or not the piece of gear that we're looking at that day really makes sense or not. And I want to say thank you to you, the viewers. It is truly you, in partnership with our regular sponsors, that help me to create content just like this. And I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is Health Code and their complete meal shakes. And this is just a perfect example of the environment that these make total sense. I'm running around today, doing a bunch of errands and stuff, and I have a choice. Do I go hit the drive-thru and spend 15, 20 bucks on an unhealthy meal with too many calories, or with 400 calories, 27 grams of protein, this thing fills me up and gives me the nutrition that I need as well. And on average, it costs about $4 per meal. making it perfect for those on-the-go situations. But I've also taken these throughout the years on backpacking trips, camping trips, because you're getting all those nutrients and you're cutting out a lot of the salt and just other processed stuff that goes into a lot of those dehydrated meals. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with what Health Code provides, not only with their original meal shakes, but also a plant-based option and their emergency food storage canisters. So I invite you to check out the link in the description box below, as well as my exclusive 15% off promo code that you can apply towards your very first purchase. So go ahead, check out all the different options that Health Code has to offer and give yourself that healthy alternative for a meal when you're on the go. Now to our polymer sheath, which, even though it's pancake, is relatively narrow for the size of the knife. Now, taco would be ideal. It would slim down on profile in your pocket even a little bit more, but this does give you a lot of variety, so I think it's a decent trade-off. We have a good drainage hole at the bottom. You have lots of lashing points, so you can do paracord, you could do BLADEHQ locks, ulti clips, all the different things that you may want to attach if you want a really solid like lockup either in your pocket or on a piece of gear. Now, the thing that is really cool is that they give us a large belt loop that has two little Torx. They're probably T6s. Don't quote me on that. But that can fit in your pocket with its loop over, or it can easily fit on a belt. Now, there's no attachment on the other side. That's okay, because the knife rotates and goes in either way and is ambidextrous that way. That is genius. Really like that. That is partly why it's a pancake versus a taco design as well. Silent. Excellent tension. The tension is made possible with these little tabs right here that basically grab inside that little cutout right there. And they're rubberized on the back. So the only critique that I really have is that sometimes going in and out of the sheath, the rubberized tabs kind of snag the blade a little bit. And so you feel it kind of like suctioning out. It's not like a snap and then a pulls out nice and smooth. It kind of like you're pulling, it feels like you're pulling against rubber a little bit because of the density and the type of material that's on the back side of this. And then when you go in, sometimes you kind of gotta like feel it in to get it to snap in. That happens every once in a while, maybe every fifth deployment and every fifth going back in, that it'll kind of like the rubber will grab the blade, and then you kind of maybe have to, you know, play with it just a little bit. So it's a trade-off for the value and for the versatility, because you can obviously just unscrew that pocket clip if you wanted to put one of the, you know, ulti clips or whatever you're going to do, or if you're going to run it as a neck knife, which we all know how I feel about carrying a knife that direction. It is definitely slim enough to do it, but I made a video a long time ago called Why Neck Knives Suck, and I'm sticking by that concept. I've never carried a knife that way. Don't have any plans to change anytime soon. So I would give, out of 5, I would give this an extremely solid 4 stars for this design, and there's really minimal things to critique in the concept of what this sheath offers. And leave a comment below. Let me know how you guys would mount this if you were carrying this on a regular basis. Ulti clip, stay with the standard, use a Molly lock or a BLADEHQ lock. I always am curious about how you guys mount your sheaths. Now, before we get to the mini IRIDIUM, let's talk about this handle. Now, this is really interesting. Full tank construction, excellent. We got 2 T-screws right there, back and front. This is a rubberized scale. It has the same texture as the little grab-ons that like hold the sheath into place on the knife. So it's very warm to the touch. It's got some different little patterns right there. The spine is crowned, but they've machined the angles, so there's no sharp angles there. I didn't notice it, and I wasn't like, oh, this is a hot spot. And then you have a couple little tiny hits of squared off jimping that, again, are not hot. And then you have a nice little guard right there, lanyard out the back. You could remove that if you wanted to like skeletonize it even more, or do a paracord wrap instead, because the blade is mounting around that gap. So as long as you weren't blocking that gap, you could easily swap that out and do, you know, some sort of other modifications in that way. It's 4 inches long and like 0.43 on the thickness. I got just a little bit of real estate. You guys loved it when I started giving you the measurement. From here to here is 3¼ inches. So it just gives you some idea. On top of the, like, I wear large size gloves, so that just gives you a concept that boom, plenty of grip there. Even in a reverse grip, I feel very confident in its gripping. So for what this tool is, and again, for me, I like the slim idea for most utility. Now, it's not a bushcraft knife, you know, that you wouldn't want like a really fat, beefy handle, but for just, you know, for some feather sticking and just all the stuff you're seeing in this video, general utility, absolutely gets the job done, gets you that really good tactile feel, and isn't too short, thank God. Not too short, and gives me enough real estate to grab it with confidence. That's what she said. I think I've been watching too many reruns of The Office. Okay, so just to button that up, I'll have links in the description box below for this, as well as the mini Iridium that just recently dropped. $45. I think you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. I do appreciate Kershaw hooking me up with both of these models to show you guys pros, cons, to help you determine for yourself. Because, I mean, you know, like when you look at, and I'll run in maybe a photo of a couple others that this is next to. I mean, yes, of course, like, a buck with S35VN and, you know, rich light and leather and all American made for, you know, I mean, in many ways this will outperform this, but I'm going to pay $200 for this blade, and I can score this for under 50. So if you're on a tight budget, or you're wanting to try, I think that's what for a lot of people, you're wanting to try out the concept. You're like, I want to give this thing a shot. I've been seeing a lot of these little fixed blades. I don't want to drop $200 on, like, you know, this yet. Let me get this going and see how I feel about that, or I'm building out a mini survival kit, you know, like whatever. That's where I feel like this step really hits home and does check a lot of boxes. Now, as we transition to the mini Iridium, really cool. I love the color. The color combination is great. Kind of following, it seems like everybody's kind of following in this, like, Benchmade kind of did it. I mean, I'm sure they were producing it before that, you know, you know, kind of like aqua with like the bronze, really cool. I really, really like that. D2 steel coming in right around the same price point. I think it's like 60 bucks-ish, so you might save like $5 on the design overall. You're looking at about a 3-inch blade. I can just barely get my hand over it when we look at it compared to the full size, this one being that carbon fiber. You know, I mean, obviously for me and my size hands, this is definitely like the way to go. I'm going to feel a lot more confident, feel a lot more grip, use the tool a lot more. But for those of you who maybe have blade length restrictions, you know, and you're like, dude, I can't carry, you know, more than like a 3-inch blade. Well, then this checks that box. Or for those, particularly because I know a lot of you guys watch, I mean, we're mostly a male-oriented percentages, you know, in views, but we got some ladies that watch, and I know a lot of women watch with their spouses, so, or their, you know, their boyfriends. So this would be ideal, I think, if you're wanting to hook your significant other and they have smaller hands, your kids, you know, and you're wanting to get them into a tool like this, and you're not, you know that the full size would be a little too big. Maybe you have the full size and you're like, it's not quite, you know, it's just kind of beefy for you. This will fit in their pockets better. This will fit, you know, and all that. Now, the one thing for the astute user, and it shows that Kershaw is listening, and this is awesome. They are responding to, I don't know if other people are. I don't watch actually like a lot of other knife reviews. I try to keep it like focused on what I'm doing. So maybe other people are talking about it too. I know I have like hammered it ad nauseum. Look at this. Okay, see that pocket clip? Recessed screws, looped over. You may notice it is not the same pocket clip that is on the original Iridiums. You know what it is? It's actually a mini version of the BLADEHQ pocket clip. Right there, look at that. It's just a hair shorter, but it's copying the BLADEHQ, which I think, and I have said in multiple videos, is like one of the best pocket clips on the market right now, and the best one that Kershaw has, and they need to. So great, Kershaw. Yes, I know they'll see this video. Awesome. I love it. I love the response. I love how they're doing it. I want to see, me as the user, want to see this across the entire line. If it fits on the, you know, a knife like this, they need to give it all of them like this. This is an excellent pocket clip. I don't care if like 50% of their blades or 30 or, you know, 60% of their blades all have the exact same redundant pocket clip. Do not care. It works, it's functional, and it's fantastic. So great to see that, and I hope we see more updates and even old models that they swap out the clips and start putting these on it instead, and the BLADEHQ version would be phenomenal. Love to see that direction. And yeah, leave your guys' thoughts. If you are on the BLADEHQ, you know what I'm talking about, leave comments what your take is on that. Little tweaks like that can make all the difference on the carryability of a tool. So guys, that's I've just been kind of hanging out with you, giving you kind of a rundown. 2 different Kershaws that we've looked at here today. Got a lot going on with each one. Appreciate you guys hanging with me today. I hope it's been fun, entertaining, giving you the data that you need to make wise choices. That's what I always do in these videos, is I love hanging out with you and sharing my experience so that you guys can sit there and go, is this really what I want to do? Or go, no, that is definitely not what I want to do because of whatever reason, pro or con. So appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. See you out there.